Have you ever stopped to think if playing it safe, maybe with your own potential, is actually the riskiest thing you could do? Today, we're doing a deep dive into two really powerful ancient stories. They're both from the Gospel of Matthew. We've got the parable of the talents and the parable of the lamp on a stand. And they seem to suggest that doing nothing, inaction, that might be a bigger failure than just messing up.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, I think, isn't just the surface lesson. Our mission here sort of is to unpack how these two stories, which look pretty different at first glance, how they actually come together to issue this really quite radical challenge, is this idea that there's a real cost, a profound cost, to just letting what you've been given sit there unused. And it shows how things like fear, maybe complacency, can really sabotage your potential, your purpose even.
Okay, so let's start with the talents one. The parable.
The parable of the talents. For it will be like a man going on a journey, who called his servants, and entrusted to them his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also he who had the 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Now after a long time the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here, I have made 5 talents more. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little, I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. And he also, who had the 2 talents, came forward, saying, Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. Here, I have made 2 talents more. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little, I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. He also, who had received the 1 talent, came forward, saying, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here, you have what is yours. But his master answered him, You wicked and slothful servant. You knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I scattered no seed? Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him, and give it to him who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has will more be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the worthless servant into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Talents. Most people probably know the basic outline, right? A master is going away. He gives 3 servants different amounts of money, talents. 5 to one guy, 2 to another, and just 1 talent to the last servant. The first 2, they get right to it. They invest, trade, whatever. They double their money.
Yeah, they're active.
Exactly. But that 3rd servant, he panics, gets scared. So he digs a hole and buries his 1 talent. And when the master comes back, he just hands back the original amount. Nothing more.
And this is where it gets really crucial to understand the context, especially the scale we're talking about. Because when we hear talent now, we think, a skill or an ability.
Yeah, like being good at piano or something.
Exactly. But back then, a single talent was a huge amount of money, massive. I think maybe 15 years' wages for an ordinary worker, maybe even more.
15 years. So burying 1 wasn't like losing a $20 bill.
Not even close. It was like burying a fortune. So this wasn't just a minor slip-up. It was this act of, profound negligence. Almost shocking, really. He was entrusted with something massive. And the master's reaction, calling him wicked and lazy, that's incredibly harsh.
It really is.
It's not just about, oh, you lost me some potential profit. It feels deeper. It's like a total condemnation of his refusal to actually engage with this huge opportunity he was given.
Yeah.
A failure of stewardship, yeah, but one that seems rooted in fear.
That condemnation, wicked and lazy, that really jumps out. It feels like the core of it. It suggests there's this underlying expectation, doesn't it? That whatever you're given, and maybe it's money, maybe it's an idea, an insight, some unique chance that's meant to be used actively, not just kept safe in a box or, buried in the ground. So was playing it safe the totally wrong move, even though he didn't technically lose the original capital?
Absolutely. I think that's exactly the point. The label wicked, that suggests more than just laziness. It implies a failure of character, a deliberate refusal almost, to align with the purpose behind the gift. Maybe he's afraid of failing, sure, but maybe also afraid of succeeding. It hints at this, like active resistance to what the master actually intended.
Okay, so this idea of using things, making them visible, deploying them, that brings us quite neatly to the second story.
Parable of the lamp. Then Jesus asked them, "Would anyone light a lamp and then put it under a basket or under a bed? Of course not. A lamp is placed on a stand where its light will shine. For everything that is hidden will eventually be brought into the open, and every secret will be brought to light. Anyone with ears to hear should listen and understand." Then he added, "Pay close attention to what you hear. The closer you listen, the more understanding you will be given, and you will receive even more. To those who listen to my teaching, more understanding will be given. But for those who are not listening, even what little understanding they have will be taken away from them."
The parable of the lamp on a stand. It's much shorter, but it hits this theme from a slightly different but equally powerful angle, right?
It does. The lamp parable really zeroes in on the basic inherent purpose of light. What is light for? Jesus says pretty directly, "You are the light of the world." And then neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl.
Right.
Instead, they put it on its stand and it gives light to everyone in the house. It's almost absurd when you think about it, lighting a lamp just to immediately hide it.
Yeah. I mean, who lights a lamp and then shoves it under the nearest, mixing bowl? That completely defeats the object. The whole point of lighting it is to see.
Exactly. The message is crystal clear.
Okay.
If you have light, and that light could be truth, could be knowledge, wisdom, even just your unique viewpoint, its very nature, its essence demands that it be shared, that it be visible. Hiding it fundamentally contradicts why it exists in the first place.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many great ideas or maybe important truths are just sitting there under a bowl in our own lives or communities simply because we're not putting them out there on the stand.
Precisely. And you see the connection back to the talents, that fear that paralyzed the third servant, leading him to bury the money, and the sheer irrationality of hiding a lamp that's designed to shine. Both stories hammer home this idea that being passive, just holding on to something, is fundamentally opposed to the gift's purpose. It's not enough to just have it. You're expected to do something with it, perform, in a sense.
What strikes me is how both these parables push against a very, very human instinct. We often rationalize doing nothing by calling it being careful or avoiding risk.
Sure, prudence is a virtue.
Right, but these stories seem to say, hang on, there's a different kind of failure here.
Right.
A failure that comes specifically from not acting, not sharing, not letting that light shine or that talent grow.
Yeah, if you step back and look at the bigger picture, beyond just these two examples, the universal lesson feels quite stark, doesn't it? It's that the value of certain things, truth, opportunity, potential, it's only truly realized when they're actively used and shared. It's a powerful call for, agency, for taking ownership, for recognizing that the unique things we bring, whether they're ideas or resources, they're meant to have a wider impact. They're not just for us.
So thinking about both stories then, we have the master coming down really hard on the wicked and lazy servant. And we have this almost comical but powerful image of not hiding a lamp. They both point to this profound truth. What you've been given, it isn't just yours to hoard. It seems to come with an inherent responsibility, a call to action.
And that really brings back to you listening right now. It raises a pretty important question, I think. What insights, what specific knowledge, maybe what unique opportunities or platforms do you have access to? Are you perhaps holding on to them? Maybe even metaphorically burying them out of fear?
or maybe just caution that's gone too far, when maybe, just maybe, they're clearly meant to be put into active use, to be shared, to, illuminate the world around you in some way. What potential are you keeping under that bowl?